What we do here is go back.
You never know, this might even work. Yep, that appears to be working. Hi everyone, it's Mike here, Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. It is Saturday night, it is Saturday the 5th of February 2022. Hopefully you're all having a great night. I was going to say something else then, but it didn't come out right. Anyway, moving on. So tonight's stream we're going to be doing a build on the Intel i5-10600. This is the basically the unloved build. There's some bits and pieces that I've had accumulated around which I should be using, which I haven't. And I've been waiting for basically the perfect opportunity to do a build, and we're pretty much there. There is a reason behind this build, which isn't really the most, well, scientific way of testing things. Some of you who are regular viewers will probably know that this power supply, the ST65F-GS power supply, I thought may have had a slight issue with voltages, and I was having problems with my own video editing PC, which is over there, currently switched off. Thank goodness. The errors have continued to some extent, so I haven't ruled out the power supply altogether. So the plan is to build up another video editing PC, put it through its paces with that power supply, with the other bits I've got here, and actually see if the power supply is any good or not before I sling it in the bin. Sounds like a way to go. Also as well, if it does work out well, then I've got a backup machine for video editing, which is actually very handy because then I can have one rendering while I'm working on another project, etc, etc. So yeah. In my mind, it makes absolute sense. Unlike the weather at the moment, which is absolutely horrendous out there. Don't know where you are in the world, but here in the southwest, we've currently got some kind of almost hurricane strength winds, which are blowing up a gale outside. So there's all kinds of stuff blowing around out there. It's like a scene out of that, the film, I can't think what the film's called, where they chase hurricanes. It's like that, but there isn't any flying cows at the moment. At least I don't think there is. I haven't seen any. The cats might be out there flying around.
Poppy is.
Poppy is definitely flying around because she's tiny. My mouth is watering. Sorry, I've got a chewing gum in. I've just had a pizza and it was really, really salty. And I was just feeling, I'm not quite getting the moisture. So I thought I'll have a quick chewing gum before I start the stream. I forgot to spit it out before I started. So I do apologise. But hopefully, yes, you're all having a good evening. Just looking through there. Philip Collins says the film is Twister. Thank you, Philip. That is the one I was looking for. Mark Berry says wet and windy in Dorset. This guy says Twister. Excellent stuff. So normally at this point I'd go through and say hello to everybody, but rather than do that, this is going to be a long one. So I'm going to get straight in and organise the parts. Just making sure that the connectivity is okay, that you can hear me, you can see me, etc, etc, and that everything's working. So let's try the overhead camera. Overhead's working, yep. Hello, that is working. Excellent stuff.
What we do here is go back.
Just waiting to make sure that everything is okay. So, yeah, nothing there. No one's complaining about sound. It is a little bit bright. The reason behind that is because I've got all the lights on. Actually, saying that, I'm actually going to turn one of them off because the slightly more yellowy house light isn't really necessary at the moment. But the brightness will be useful. Let me see if I turn it off. I think that's going to be a little bit too dark. How are we looking? Is that... Yeah, actually that's not looking too bad, I don't think.
Until you try and build it.
It's bearable, yeah. Until I actually won't be able to see anything. So, well, power supply already introduced that, so you know what that's all about. That is a fully modular gold power supply from Silverstone. I've had that a long time actually. It's served me very well up until the point where I was a little bit hesitant about the voltages. But yeah, regardless. Memory wise, we're going to be using the Klevv Cras X. This is a 16 gig kit, as you can no doubt see. 2x 8 gig sticks with a DDR4 3600 speed. Potentially, if it all works well, I could swap out. I've got another kit up there of 32 gigs, so potentially I could do that, but I think to start with, that's going to be absolutely fine. Hard drive storage wise, we're going with a Seagate Barracuda 3 terabyte drive. That's going to be for kind of bulk storage and video files which aren't in use. Ideally, when you're video editing, you want to get your files on a faster drive, so we have got an NVMe for that, but it's a slightly smaller drive, so we don't want to have all of it on there, so we're going to drag and drop things over onto the appropriate drive. Graphics card wise, no surprise, you guys have seen this so many times and I've seen it so many times as well. This is EVGA's GTX 1070, 8GB. Yes, Kath?
Those RGB lights are affecting it again.
The RGB lights are affecting it. Oh, what, the autofocus?
I think so, yeah.
Let me see if I can change that a second. RGB. Let's wait for the MSI sensor to load itself up. It is on face auto detect as well. Maybe change that.
2.
Actually, I know I'll do. Where are we? Autofocus. Let's go with custom, no, one area. I'm going to set the AF area for somewhere down there. Set that. You might have to do a tap to focus, Kath. Features, where are we? Mystic Light. Let's go with a solid color. Let's just go with CPU temperature. That doesn't look a lot like CPU temperature. Oh, there we go. Okay. The green giant behind us.
That's focused okay, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that is focused okay. Right, so yeah, graphics card, GTX 1070, 8 gigs, so that is going to be actually very good for video editing. I've used it before for video editing for many, many times. The 8 gigs of RAM is helpful, and also NVENC encoder is also extremely useful. And it's a relatively cheap card these days. And there's a super chat come in from £5. It says nearly 69,000 subs. Nice. We're getting very close. What is on? It's about 68,940 something.
They can't see the end bit, can they?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think we're not far off. So
that far back.
another 50 or 60 subs and we'll be at 69. Nice. Thanks for a super chat, Bob.
And
What was you gonna
Ricardo asked RTX 3050 or RTX 2060 12 gig.
Ricardo, good question. Well, the 2060 generally is a little bit faster than the GTX 3050. 3050 is newer. It's kind of swings and roundabouts. If it's purely on a gaming basis, I would say probably the 2060 might just take it. We were looking at this earlier in Discord. Someone was asking a very similar question. RTX 3050 versus RTX 2060. And yeah, there was a video I found, which just typed in and found it, and it came out with the 3050 being slightly quicker. And it's like, well, that doesn't quite make sense from what I can remember. So then Ghost Adder in our Discord said, no, that looks like it's a fake video. They've disabled comments and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I looked at another few videos and 2060 does appear to be a few frames per second faster in general. I haven't seen the 12 gig version of it yet. I don't think it's actually released yet. So yeah, we'll find out when we find out. You never know what other tweaks they might make even. So yeah, that one's a little bit far off, so we'll find out. The color looks really bad on the screen. I really must sort out the colors. I think it's because I know what it is. I'm using that camera. Oh well. Anyway, cooling duties are going to be taken care of by Fractal S36. It's 360mm AIO. This was actually kindly gifted to us a long while back, and has had periodic use in the PC behind me before I switched out for the Arctic Freezer 2 360. This is going to be a really good addition. There is actually a reason for this. well, A, it's obviously a good cooling mechanism or good cooling system to have, a little bit of water cooling. When you're rendering videos in Adobe Premiere or whatever program you're using, normally your processor is going to be slammed. So trying to keep it so that it'll boost longer and higher is beneficial for rendering videos. So water cooling, because you've got the extra thermal mass, it takes longer to reach that equilibrium of the highest temperature. So normally you can get through a rendering task before you kind of get to the point where your processor is starting to throttle. Whereas with some air coolers, you hit that you hit that high threshold very quickly. So then you're possibly going to start throttling depending on lots of other variables such as ambient temperatures, case airflow, all those kinds of things. So anyway, that was my decision behind that. Also, the case that we're going to be putting this into, the Gamemax Stealth, is slightly challenged in terms of airflow on the front. So this is actually going to make sense having this mounted up front and almost having a negative pressure setup. Wow, I am struggling with words tonight. This doesn't bode well. There's my notes, so that is all the prices on there, which I'll discuss shortly. Motherboard duties are going to be taken care of by the ASUS TUF Gaming B560 Plus Wi-Fi. Nice little board, actually. Managed to pick this up on Amazon Germany for a very decent saving. Normally I think this in the UK is somewhere in the region of about 150, 160 pounds. I think I paid about 115 getting it from Amazon Germany. So that worked out particularly well. Inside here is the processor. So we've got the Intel i5 600. This isn't the K version, just the straight 600, but it does have the integrated iGPU, which is going to be helpful for those video editing tasks. Potentially you could actually edit videos on this without the graphics card. And that's something I might actually try at some point. Storage wise for our boot drive, XPGs, I think that's an SX8200. I think I'll put in the description as SX6000, which is the newer version of it, but yeah, it's essentially the same deal. So PCI Express Gen 3 x 4, which is going to be perfect for this platform. So that is motherboard, processor, and all that kind of stuff. The only thing I've failed to show you so far is the case. But what we'll do is we'll start getting on, build this up together, then I'll put it all to one side, then we can get the case out and have a look at it. It is the Gamemax Stealth. It's a great little case, 30 quid, can't go wrong. I think it's actually going to be maybe one of my favourite go-to cases for those kind of budget builds, but I do want to see what the airflow is going to be like, hence why we're going to be putting all this in and seeing if it struggles or not. It's going to be really easy to test because all I need to do is do the tests later on when I do the video editing in the week, and literally to test if it's choked on the front or not is literally pull the front cover off. If it gets considerably better, then obviously it's a choked case and we're not going to go ahead with that in future. But if the difference is only maybe a couple of degrees, then I think it's going to be absolutely fine. Prices, so let's run through the prices. So the CPU was a bargain from CEX, £135, motherboard 115, so our package combo for motherboard processor 250. The RAM was 70, that's the Cras X. M.2 drive was a bargain on Facebook Marketplace, 35 quid. 3TB drive was £50, the 1070 used Facebook Marketplace, £200. And actually for anyone who is in the Bristol area, or maybe UK based and don't mind paying a bit of shipping, the guy who is selling those, he's actually got a load more of them in stock. He's got some 1080s, 1070s, 1060s, and I think there was a 3070 possibly. All very good prices. So if you're interested in cheapo graphics cards, either drop me an email, mike@mikesunboxing.com, or head over to the Discord and just message me and I'll give you the guy's details and then you can work out the rest for yourselves. Power supply, I've put down £40 because realistically that power supply you probably can't buy anymore, but we have been seeing recently on places like Amazon and also Hot UK Deals, decent power supplies in and around the 600 watt mark, especially gold ones, for in the region ballpark wise about £40. Some slightly more, some slightly less, but if you wait your time then you can normally find a good bargain. Case was £35, I think it was 30 plus £5 postage, so I kind of incorporated that. The cooler, I would say if you're going to get this, either this or the Arctic Freezer 2 240, looking somewhere around about £60 for either, 60 to £80 depending where you shop. Giving us a grand total of what this actually is going to be costing me, give or take, is £740, which actually for this spec of PC I don't think is actually too bad at all. And in terms of what it's going to offer us later on for gaming, Obviously GTX 1070 still holds its own in 1080p and 1440p gaming. I actually played Far Cry 5 when it came out on the 1070 and it was a very enjoyable experience, mostly between 80 and 100 frames per second on that kind of AAA game. So yeah, 1440p, it's going to be fine. Obviously if you crank it down to 1080p, you're going to get higher frames, or you can turn up the eye candy a little bit, all that kind of stuff. So there we go, that's the prices. So yeah, probably most of it's in the video description anyway, if you're not sure. If you're just joining the stream and you want to know what is in the build, and you've missed what I've just said already, just head down to the description and it's all listed there for you. And relax. I'm going to have a drink of water. Actually, I'll have a slurp of my tea.
Don't relax, Pop is back in.
Yeah, Pop is back, so no relaxing for me. Whew. Oh, nearly spilt my tea. That would be an absolute disaster. Right, actually let's say a quick hello to some of you guys in the chat, because it seems rude that I haven't done already. So let's scroll through. If there's any questions, I'll try and take them, but I'm going to be focusing a lot on the build, so if it's related specifically to what I'm doing in the build, then that's great. If it's something else, either wait till later or stick it in the Discord and I'll have a look for you later. So yeah, Ugly Bob's with us in the chat. Paul Bakewell, William Bodie, how you doing, William? There, James Brock, good old James Brock, how you doing? Rick H says good evening to all the mubs. Fred Brown, how you doing, Fred? John Sullivan says good evening, guys. Fred Brown says, hi Mike, how the hell does one set up the stupid Razer software up so you get one colour on the keyboard? That's a very good question actually. Razer software is somewhat of a mystical art, I think, for a lot of people. Who else we got? Rick H, I think we said already. Paul Bakewell, blah blah blah. Sir Soppy Balls was in there as well, and I've seen that earlier. But the thing is, because if you open up the chat and then open it in another window, it all goes a bit Pete Tong and you can't see anything. And actually,
I haven't said hello to anyone.
I haven't put it into live chat mode. That's why I've only put it into the other one. Anyway, Mick Woods is with us as well. Ordinary Dude, how you doing? Outlaw Fett says hello. Jay Rich says Poppy Magic. Yes. Aletta's with us as well. It says amazing. I've got a new Twitter account and haven't been banned yet. There's always the rest of the day to go. William Bodie says, did they say anything at work with your new coffee mug? No, they haven't yet, because I haven't been into work since I did the unboxing last... When did I do the unboxing? Was it last Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I had my travel mug.
It's in the dishwasher.
Kath put it in the dishwasher. Kenny D says, would love details for that guy who sold you the GTX 1070. No worries. Kenny, yeah, hit me up in the Discord, or if not, I think Dave Aitken, if he's in the Discord as well, also he'll be able to give you the details because he's been in contact with him as well. James Miscellaneous is with us. How you doing, James? Jay Wass says, I recently bought a Samsung 860 Evo M.2. Realised later it's not an NVMe. Will I be losing much performance? Yeah, the SSD versus NVMe argument is a very interesting one. Realistically, under most circumstances, you probably would never notice any difference whatsoever, unless you you're doing like really large files and you're kind of benchmarking it. I think under normal circumstances, you'd never notice the difference. I certainly wouldn't. Maybe you might in video editing because you're relying on the system to get the data through as quick as possible. I know for a fact doing 1080p editing without using proxy files, there was no problems at all. When you get to 4K files or 1440p, well, 1440p isn't as bad, but 4K files do need a little bit of extra help to push that bandwidth through if you're not using proxy files. So yeah, I don't think it's gonna make a lot of difference. It makes sense if they're the same price, go for an NVMe, but an SSD or a SATA-based SSD isn't going to cause you too many problems. Ultimate Tech Hub, how much is the 1070? Didn't hear a price. Currently there's a guy in Bristol, local to us, who's selling them for £200 a shot, which is, well, an excellent price in my opinion.
Jay Rich asked, he apologises if you asked already, but will this build be your own personal rig?
Jay Rich, no, it won't be. Well, it might end up being. I dance a very kind of weird line between my personal rig, my video editing rig, and my gaming machine, because they're all the same box. Now, I don't have tons and tons of money to be able to have an individual PC for every individual task. At least I could, but they wouldn't all be as good. They would be compromises because I just can't afford to do it. So potentially, if this turns out to be good for 4K editing, which I'm going to be trying on it, I may actually stop editing on my main gaming PC, because there is always that thing of you want to do updates, Windows updates, game updates, install loads of files, and it takes away space from the video editing, and then every now and then you get an update from Adobe, which then normally wrecks things. So it would be quite nice to have a machine which I could use predominantly offline, purely for video editing, and keep all my stuff kind of nice and separated. It's a bit of a pipe dream, and I don't think physically I've got the space to do it, but I would love to be able to do it if I could. The PC behind me is my streaming PC. Also, I use that for capturing footage, for how-to videos and that kind of thing. So that kind of is set up in a means of where I just do all kinds of random stuff to it, and if it dies sort of thing. I'm not particularly bothered. The stream's relatively straightforward to set up again, but when it comes to video editing and installing Adobe, registering the software, etc., it is quite time consuming. And also, that machine's backed up on my NAS. In fact, all the machines now are starting to be backed up on my NAS on a daily basis. I finally worked out how to get active backup for business running, and it's absolutely fascinating piece of software, and I will be doing a piece on that coming up soon. If you've got a load of PCs in your house and you want to back it up centrally, and you don't want to have to get involved, and you don't want to have to rely on people to run backups, Synology's Active Backup for Business is absolutely brilliant. It isn't a straightforward piece of software to set up, but once it's set up and you set your profiles and what you want it to do, it's an absolute gem. And also it gives you the opportunity to to restore files at a user level should things go wrong, which I think is fantastic. So they don't need to have access to the NAS at all. All they need is the software installed, and they can restore individual files if they overwrite something or delete it. So we'll definitely be doing a piece on that a little bit later. Actually, I've got a sneaking suspicion. Did I? Yes, I did. I just realised I've been putting the chat up on the screen, but I actually got rid of the... No, I didn't. Is the chat overlay working? Let me try that again.
I haven't noticed it.
Oh, this mouse. Where's my mouse gone? Where's the control key? Ah, there it is. So, is that coming up on the screen? No, why is that not working? Okay, so live chat overlay appears to not be working. What is going on? Let's go to the overhead camera and try that again. No, that is not working. Okay, so the live chat overlay is not working for some reason. Oh well, we'll give up on that then. Right, let's get on with this. Otherwise I'm going to be here all bloody night. Well, I probably will be all night anyway. So we have got our processor, and we've got... I nearly lined it. This is actually a really nice little board. Well, I say little, it's a big board. This also gives us the flexibility later on, should you wish to upgrade it to a K-series processor. Top of the line processor. It's got a decent VRM setup on here, which is always a lovely thing to see. Poppy, what are you doing? I'm going to need that other light on there, I think. Aurali's with us as well. How you doing, Aurali? And Dr. Hex UK. So, what should we do first? Let's do the NVMe drive. So, I should actually be using my my new screwdriver, shouldn't I, really? But, stupidly, as always, I failed to prepare. But you lot should be used to that by now. Is that working? Yes. So, oh, I have used that before. so what do we do here then? So this, and that's this. Oh, it's got that horrible thing. So am I going to need this another standoff here? I guess I am. Yes, I need a standoff. So where's the standoffs? I bet they're in the box.
Just looking for you.
Why would I have not put a standoff in there already? That is slightly unusual. This will be the first part of the problem, and I'll be like, oh right, I can't install a drive, great. There's those. So why have we not got an M.2 standoff then? Am I missing something here? Aha, there we go. Standoffs. Also got some nice wireless antennae. Antennals. Hey? It was a bit Bristolian, wasn't it? Yarp. Alright, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. Is that better? You see that okay? Right. Let's get a little NVMe standoff. These things are so fiddly. I don't know why they make them so small. So what they've got the setup as at the moment, it's got the ASUS quick tab on the end here, which you can flip round to lock drives into position, but you can't physically remove that to put it into this lower slot. So what we're going to have to do is to install a little standoff into the 2280 location. Do that up by hand a little bit, and then we grab our little box wrench, little turn there, happy days. Make sure I didn't dirty those fingers up. I'm not sure with this drive or not whether I will actually be able to put the top plate back on, because there is actually a top plate on that one already, which is slightly annoying. Thanks you, Bob, I saw that out the corner of my eye. To fail to prepare is to prepare to fail, says Matthew Day. Yes, I would agree somewhat with that. So that's the drive installed. That's pretty straightforward. So all we've got to do now is to put the cover back on. A couple of screw turns in there just to hold it in place. And then do the other end. It doesn't have to be too tight as long as it's actually making contact and the screws aren't loose. Yeah, that's fine. Don't want to put too much pressure on. Actually, let's have a look, see if that's bending the drive at all. Actually, if it's making contact, I might need to reduce some of the tension on that. No, I think we're good. Oh my God! Thank you, Bob. He says. And we'll pause there. Bob with a £2 super chat and says, wahahaha. Antonio says, what would this whole setup be worth if it was 35% more money? If it was 35% more money, it'd be somewhere in the region of about £1,000, I would have thought. It's 740, so if you add on 35% of that, 25% would be of 1,000 is 250, so my rough maths. Hey Siri, what is £740 plus? Oh, screw you. No, sod it.
Okay, I found this on the web for what is 748 o'clock. I'm sorry. Check it out.
Oh my God, I'm being Siri'd. I thought the watch was bad enough. The phone's kicked in as well.
That kicked in first, that's why it was weird that you were talking to your watch.
Let's get the processor in. So with the processor, there's little tabs on the side, which you can just about see there, and they match up with the tabs there, and there. And all we do is plop that gently in, give it a little tiny wiggle, make sure it's actually in the right place. Gonna let the cover go down. Those two little lugs go underneath, and then you get the horrible crunching noise. Put this clip underneath there, and you should find that your plastic cover is removed. put that somewhere safe because you may need that if you have to ever send the board back for RMA purposes.
How much for the board?
The board was, I paid 115 from Amazon Germany. Normally I think you can pick them up for around about 130, 140. It's bizarre that the motherboard actually costs more than the processor. But hey, what can I say? It's Intel.
Antonio meant, would you decide to buy it? Would you decide to build at that price?
Would I decide to build at that price? What, the current price or a 35% price?
I assume 35%.
Yeah, the 35% price, probably not. There's a really, really close target at the moment between PC parts and the different generations. So in terms of this being a 10th gen processor, even though it is pretty decent and it's good value for money, for the processor, the boards are still quite expensive. So that is going to take some of it into that equation. It's always a difficult one. You'll always find, no matter where you are, whatever country you're in, there's always going to be another deal somewhere else which is slightly better, which can be quite off-putting.
UK vamp for this 35% is £999.
Oh, 999, I wasn't far off.
Can we have UK vamp as our assistant?
Yeah, UK Vamp, you can be our official assistant for the mathematical quests.
Oh, UK vamp.
Right, now I should have had in here 4 screws. And where the hell have they gone? Okay. Right, I think I may have... How could I have done that? It's literally been a couple of hours. What the hell? Just to explain why I'm going what the hell. In this assortment of parts, which you can't probably see, there are supposed to be some standoffs like these, which are threaded. Oh,
You've put them in the case.
I prepared so well that I actually put the thumb screws on the top. So that is the ones I'm looking for. But I put the thumb screws on the end already, so I didn't lose them. And what did I do? The first thing I do, I lose them. What an absolute moron. It happens. This is live TV. Well, it's not TV, but you get the general idea.
Rick said nothing more calming than watching PCs and V8 engines being built. I don't know if he's talking about you.
Yeah, Rick, you're obviously on the wrong channel. I don't know why that overlay's not working. That's pissed me off. Anyway. Right, so what I'm going to do next is put the back plate on. Now, because this is an Intel board, we don't have the luxuries that you do with AMD setups. So we've got this little back plate, which goes on. I don't think it actually matters which way round it goes, particularly. But I'm sure we have to adjust those little bits. So there's 3 positions there, and I'm pretty sure the middle position is for the 11.5X series, which also incorporates LGA 1200. Although when this cooler was actually designed and first released on the market, LGA 1200 was not even a consideration. So let's flip that over. Does that go in there? Oh, maybe a bit smaller. Oh, maybe it is the inner side then. I thought that would have been too small. All right, let's try them on the inside. I'm sure that LGA 775 is the ones on the inner side. This is something which we are going to have to start getting used to with AMD boards going at LGA. It's just not going to be a very nice road to travel on, I don't think, in terms of processor compatibility and all that kind of stuff. Especially when it comes to mounting back plates. So there we go, that is the back plate in position. Which gives us some little sections on the back there, which actually don't look like they're coming through far enough, which is a little bit concerning. But there isn't a great deal else I can do about it at the moment. So I wonder if there is something missing. Because that is going to be... Well, I suppose it can't really pull it through anymore. Hey ho. It is what it is. So I think what I'll do is I'll get some thermal paste on there now. And then we'll get pretty much most of it in place. I don't think we can do much else other than that. So I'm going to use, as much as I don't really want to, I'm going to use some Arctic MX5, which is like absolute glue. There does seem to be a particularly dodgy bunch of batches which are going around at the moment, which are quite thick and gloopy. So let's do a little bit in the middle there.
Watch out.
And I'm going to get my spreading spatula. Watch out, what's about? Oh, Poppy, hello. Dawud does stuff, says, Mike, you're part of the reason I've built my first PC. Oh, commiserations and thanks at the same time. Hopefully it all went okay, despite getting tips from this channel. We try.
Plate the right way up.
Is the plate the right? The plate will only go one way, fortunately. So, well, I say unfortunately. Fortunately for me, and we might need a little bit more paste on there. David Aiken, hi all, can't stay. Just saying hi. Thank you very much for the super chat, David. Right at the moment where I need a bit of daylight. Markovsky says, yeah, you're missing an AMD chip for that board. I know, tell me about it. I think that's going to be enough paste.
And the build went well.
The build went well?
Yeah.
Excellent. Right, so this is the kind of, that is what you want on your CPU. So when you're doing your paste, oh sorry, Kath, can I have a bit of blue roll or something for that? Sorry. Hopefully you can see that. So just a very nice light smearing of paste on the top there. You don't want too much because otherwise it's going to end up spilling over the sides and it's an absolute nightmare to clean up, as some of you possibly have already found out. Yeah, that feels really weird, the fact that the screws don't go all the way down. I'm actually tempted to do a little bit of a test fit to make sure it fits okay before I put it all inside the case, because that could be disastrous. Rick H says, no need to worry about the Intel CPU being pulled out of the socket no matter what paste you use. Actually, to be honest with you, sometimes I don't mind that the CPU gets ripped out of the socket. Sometimes I think that's actually, it's not a bad thing. At least it lets you get to it, whereas like with this, if I get the CPU, if I get the AIO stuck on there, it's going to be really hard to get off, like really hard. Matthew Day says, not the squish method. No, I've kind of gone away from the, oh, that don't work, the squish method. I've been kind of staying away from that, purely because of trying to get some consistency, and also I feel that with the squish method, with some paste, especially MX5, it doesn't actually like it a lot. So I'm kind of staying away from that. So essentially what was going to happen, when this is all done, that is going to go on top of there, the CPU block's going to be in there, and then we can put these thumb screws on at the end to make sure that everything is a-okay. I might actually try and fire this up just to make sure it works. I'm pretty sure it works, although it was a long time that I actually tested it. So we might end up doing that. Blue roll, that's what I was after. Try and clean your stuff up as you go, because otherwise you end up getting paste all over the place, which is never a good look. So let's stick some RAM in. We've got our Klevv Cras X RGB. This is DDR4 3600. Now from what I can gather, now I'm by far, you could say that I'm probably the furthest from an expert there is when it comes down to Intel stuff. I'm really, really out of the loop. Sorry?
You say hi, Morgan.
Hello, Morgan.
I'm not being silent to my neighbour.
Sorry. Yeah. Apparently this actually will run at DDR4 3600 on this platform with that processor, which I didn't think it would. I was thinking it's going to have to run at sort of 2666 or something, but from what I can tell, this combination will actually allow you to run the XMP settings if the processor is up to it, so certainly we'll find out. And there's another super chat from Mike over at the Ultimate Tech Hub. Thank you very much, Mike, for your $5. How's it doing over there in sunny Texas, is it? I always forget. I think it probably is Texas. Hopefully it's sunny as well. If you haven't been over to Mike's channel already, Ultimate Tech Hub, give him a visit. And as he always says in his videos, follow him on Instagram. I don't like Instagram myself. I'm not on it. I refuse to do it. But anyway, thank you, Ultimate Tech Hub. Thank you, Mike. Ben Wachowski says, Jesus loves you all. Well, Jesus is a really kind guy. And if he saw me building this PC, he probably wouldn't love me very much. O'Reilly says, you think thermal paste is messy? Try inkjet printer servicing in printer ink. I have been there numerous times, and so's Kath. Kath actually dyed our cat pink using dye. Was it from the printer ink?
No, it wasn't.
What was it?
Food colouring.
Oh, food colouring, of course.
Of course I wouldn't use
Stupid me. Why would Kath use printer ink to colour a cat when there's food dye in the house?
Because food dye's edible. Well, it's not anymore, so put sugar in it.
Yeah. Right, so that is, we're pretty much done there on the motherboard, I feel. Yes, I think we are. So let's clear some room. Really now we're going to have to take a look at the case. I think you're going to like the case, I really do. The review I've done hasn't been posted out, I don't think, to anyone other than members. Possibly not members actually, probably just patrons at the moment. But yeah, it's a really interesting little case. Let's try and make some room here. You talk amongst yourselves. Say something interesting, because I won't. What do I need in here? What don't I need? I'm going to try and put as much as I can back in the box so that I don't lose it. CPU box, yes, definitely. The chip cover, very important. Make sure you always keep your chip cover. We're not going to be using the AMD mounting. I'm not going to be using the AMD screws for that, so that can go back into the bag. And we won't be using that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. I want that one. I won't be using any of those, those. The rest of that is the mountings for the cooler, so we might be using some of those. I don't think, actually, are we mounting it? Yeah, we probably won't use a great deal of those, but I will keep them out for now. Definitely going to be needing those. Don't need, so used to sticking with AMD that I put the Intel one away. I need the Intel one. Mike, must remember, Intel build. Things are different. Very different. To a point that I don't like. And speaking of don't like, I don't like this. This is the antenna for the built-in Wi-Fi. Like, what is all that about? It's all loose and just horrible. And it's very top heavy. Don't like that at all. I may actually just put some regular SMA type aerials on there. That will be, I think that'll be better. Oh, don't need that either. Tidy up as you go. So hopefully you're all having a good Saturday evening. Let us know in the chat where you are at the moment. Did Mike reply? No, can't see it now. Ultimate Tech Hub. William Bodie says, the new name for you, the Ultimate Texas Hub. Good one. If you want to learn about networking or home automation, Mike's channel.
It's not Texas, but somewhere hot.
That's good. Yeah, I thought it was Texas, or was it Florida? I forget. Vegas, maybe. Yes, Vegas. Was it Vegas?
No, I thought it was hot.
I don't know.
I don't know if Vegas is hot.
Vegas is warm, I guess. I don't know. I didn't do very well in geography at school, as you probably gathered by now. And I don't really go far out of Bristol, if at all. Right, next we're going to look at this case. Oh my god, I'm going to do my back in. So this is the Gamemax Stealth. Dare to win or next for the bin. We will find out very shortly.
That's your favourite.
That is my favourite. I like that. I do like saying that. Right, I'm going to take it out of the box off camera so I don't do a hernia. Or as we say in Bristol, a hernial.
Hernial.
Here mate, get some paracetamol for your hernial. It'll be better in the morning. Is the heating on again here still?
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Hey Google, turn the heating off. Sorry to all the viewers who are now currently sat at home freezing. Buy yourself a Mike's Unboxing hoodie, you'll be much warmer. Shameless plug. Okay, so here is, oh, Kathy better duck. The Gamemax Stealth. It's somewhat restricted airflow front panel, but it has got mesh on the sides, which might be enough. So I'm going to get rid of the side panel so Kath can stop bending over because she doesn't want to be seen on camera. I don't blame her, to be honest with you. Let's take it off there. Okay, Kath, you can come back up now.
No one can trust you.
I never don't trust me. These bits here, if you're wondering, which you probably aren't, but I'm going to tell you anyway. As you can probably see on the front panel, got those vents down either side. Gamemax being Gamemax, when you have a filter on the front anyway, what else do you need? Well, clearly you need extra filters behind that. And then what would you need? You'd need another filter behind that. So this front panel has got triple filtering. So if you're actually in the Sahara, then yes, this is going to be pretty good for you. But for most normal people in the normal world, that is going to be enough filtration, I think, for anybody.
Even with 4 cats. Even
with 4 cats. Although we'll find out. That is what this process is all about. This is about finding out what is the best bang for your buck budget case at the moment. And as much as I don't want to say it, I think this is actually going to be it. I've got a bit of a love-hate relationship going on with Gamemax. It's a very unusual relationship I have with them. They do some really, really good products, but then they also do some absolute, like, horrendous monsters. Anyway, so this chassis is based around... Oh, cheers, Ben. This is pretty much almost identical to the Gamemax F15. Now, for all of you that are out there that have been with the channel a long time, and I'd imagine there's probably a good few of you actually in the chat right now who've got a Gamemax F15 case or have had one. Kath's putting her hand up, she's definitely got one. So this is essentially the same chassis, which is the same as the Lian Li 215, and there's other various chassis, some from Neutron Labs, which I keep on saying, but they also do a case built around the same chassis. So it covers a lot of really good bases. There's loads of airflow, obviously depending on the front panel you choose. Got a really nice layout inside, you've got ventilation on the bottom should you want it, you've got extra mounting points for SSDs, you've got removable PCI Express blanking plates, you've got fans normally come as standard, you get a little bit of extra head height at the top for mounting radiators in the top should you wish to, although you are going to be restricted to 240s or 280s in the top. If it put a 360 in the top, this would be amazing, but sadly it's just a little bit too short for that. On the back as well, you've got some really good ventilation. Even at the top there, you've got that extra tiny bit, which gives you that idea that there's going to be more room up top, which I like. It's all hexagonal mesh, which is particularly good for airflow. Even the PCI Express plates are real ventilated. The bottom has an entirely ventilated bottom section, so even if you have it as a negative airflow, i.e. all these fans in the top just pulling air through, it's still going to be relatively good in terms of keeping things nice and cool. As you can see, with this front panel removed, we've got a ton of room to work with here, so fitting the 360 AIO, it's going to be an absolute piece of cake. I hate the fact I've just said that because now I am definitely going to prove myself wrong and screw it up royally. But that's what you guys are here for, and really, you're not here for any other reason than to sit down on a Saturday night, have yourself a beer, and watch me make an absolute cock of things. Well, I might just do that. So, where do you start? With these things, I don't think there's a good way or a bad way of starting. I would possibly start with a power supply first of all. The reason I'm saying that on this particular chassis is because the tolerance between the power supply and the pass-throughs on the bottom is a little bit restrictive. So you're going to want to get your HD audio cable through, maybe a USB cable through, just to start off with underneath there, because you will find it difficult otherwise. You can if you want to, I've done it before, and that is grab yourself a pretty meaty flat-headed screwdriver. You can put it underneath there and the power supply and give it a little twist. That will then give you a little bit of room to pass the connectors through, which isn't ideal, but this is the £30 case. You're getting a hell of a lot for your money for the £30. Now I picked this up for £30 from, I think it was CCL. Yes, CCL. Ah, yeah, bastards, CCL. Excuse my French. The reason I got this is because at the time I wanted free shipping, and I just bought the RX 5500 XT, which was, I think it was 229. I needed another £20 to get free shipping or something like that. So I thought, what do I need? Oh, a case, £30, excellent. And I bought this and I was kind of like, do I? And now I regret buying the graphics card because it was like £50 dearer than the other one I could have bought and did actually end up buying as well. Yeah. Right, anyway, let's see, I'm going to have a quick look on this board and see where my front panel connectors are and see which ones would be beneficial to put through now. So we've got HD audio there, USB 2, USB 3's up there, that's fine. So USB 2 will probably be okay. Let's do a quick little test fit a minute and see what the deal is here. Now you're probably not going to be able to see this particularly well. I do apologise. So we'll get an idea of roughly where the connectors are in respect to the pass-throughs on the bottom. So that one there, USB 2, that's going to be fine. That one there, front panel, yeah, that's going to need to go in pretty much straight away. So let's go ahead and do that now. Where are we? HD audio, HD audio. HD audio? No. HD audio. Right, so let's stick that through under there. Of course, with this, if you don't want to use HD audio, your front panel audio, then you can just leave the connections out. It isn't going to be the end of the world. So let's pop that one through as well, because it's going to kind of be in there. Actually, before we get too in-depth into this, I want to do a test fit on the radiator, because I am slightly concerned. Now that I've said of how easy it's going to be, as always, my plans don't always go 100%. So let's see. I'm sure it's going to fit. I'm absolutely sure it's going to fit.
Dan asked earlier, are you putting pipes up or pipes down?
It is going to have to be pipes up, unfortunately. The reason behind that is because physically the pipes actually aren't long enough to go around the graphics card and to get to the CPU if I do it the other way around. So that is part of the reason for that. So we're going to be something like that. Yeah, I think it's going to be somewhere like that. Do those go to the top or bottom? Yeah, there. So the Fractal Design logo there. So it's going to be something like that. If we put it in around the other way, I think the pipes are just going to hit. Well, I don't think it's actually going to physically go inside to begin with. Give it a go, though.
That's Vegas.
No, it's not going to go in there.
Ultimate.
Vegas! Yes, I said Vegas after. Right, so let's stick that back in there. Now the fan's already come pre-installed, so luckily that's taken some of the legwork away from us. We don't need to do that, that's awesome. And we've got a bunch of screws here. I'm guessing it's going to be those. Where did I put my screwing driver? There we are. I've been given and I've bought actually loads of screwdrivers, and I still keep on going back to those ones up on the shelf. Is that going to do it? Yeah, I think that's going to do it. So we've got some coarse threaded screws. They do include washers as well, but I think if I use the washers, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get into. So let's just get a couple of screws in here just to hold it in place. There we go, and then we can loosen that one off.
Do you put the PSU fan up for more extraction?
PSU fan up, I was considering that actually. That was another thing which was going through my mind. I have actually got a Gamemax gold rated 550 watt power supply, but as far as I know, that is an absolutely fine working power supply. So potentially I might actually put that in after, and because it's got RGB in it, I may put it in the face up situation. The only consideration then, I suppose, if you're thinking of shipping the PC, especially because you've got a radiator and other things, you've always got that risk of it dripping some water somewhere unexpectedly. Now it's unlikely. Most water cooling systems generally are built pretty well and don't leak. But you can guarantee, if you sell a PC, you pay for it to be shipped, it's just sod's law that that's going to happen and it's going to get damaged in transit. Yeah, Angry Doge, one of our YouTube viewers and a relative local here. We, yeah, what did we send it to him? We did send it, didn't we? Post it.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, we posted a.
Or did
no, we think he collected it. Yeah, we had a 240mm Cooler Master cooler, which there was a special offer on. I think I picked up 4 of them for like £80, something ridiculous. They're like £20 a pop. This is when the channel was actually quite new and fresh, and I don't need 4 AIO coolers. I thought I'd just buy them and flip them, and I realised after how bad that Cooler Master cooling can actually be, especially on some of their slightly older designs. So yeah, I learned the hard way on that one, and I think of all of them, I think half of them died or leaked, which, considering you bought 4 of them, like, it's not great odds. So yeah, I wasn't overly pleased about that. Now something else which I did think about this on which way to put the fans. So at the moment I've got the fans so they're actually pulling air through, which is actually how Fractal basically say that you should use it. They don't suggest using the fans on the front, which I don't know why, because I have done, and I'd imagine there's a lot of people that do. But the reason they're saying is because if you have that mounted this way, it's a lot easier then to just vacuum out the front of the radiator, rather than if you have it on the other side, you can have a dust layer on the fans on this side of the radiator, but sandwiched in between. So it actually makes a lot of sense to me. And also for this particular instance, because we've obviously got that panel on the front where you can't get anything through there anyway, in terms of air is going to be difficult to get through to some extent in a straight path, I think it's going to work out okay. And I think it's going to be quite good at stopping dust getting in, or at least more so. Because the airflow going in is going to be quite restricted, so it's not going to pull in those smaller little particles which get on a full airflow case would get dragged straight in. So hopefully we're just going to end up with a bunch of cat hairs on here, and that's going to be about it. Well, there we go. There is the radiator installed. It doesn't look overly pretty from there, but again, it's not a problem at all because, where's it gone? All we're going to end up doing is sticking this on the front. He says, line up. There we go. So that's it. You can't even tell that it's there. But on the inside, now what we've got, because we've got these RGB blades which are white blades anyway, and also we've got those blades in there which show through white as well. Yeah, I think it's going to be quite good. So we could set a lighting pattern in here. The white blades on the inside are going to reflect any of the RGB light, so they're going to look kind of almost as if they're the same colour. Of course, if you want to, you can change the fans out for something a little bit different, should you wish. Yes, Kath? I can't read the screen, so hang on, I'm going to turn the computer around so I can see through the CPU hole. There we go. AFIC, I can't see. How far up is it?
A little bit.
Oh yeah, AFIC, yeah. Hi Mike, I've stumbled upon a new AIO from Invasion, Hilara V2. Could you check it out and give some review? It's a budget AIO, but got temperature LED display on it. Yeah, I'll certainly have a look at it. I haven't seen it and I haven't heard of that brand, but I will... Have you even made a note of that one, Kath?
Yeah.
Right, Kath's made a note of it, so when we finish the stream up, if it's available in the UK, we'll see if it's a reasonable price and try it. Fred Brown says, Mike, I've had no problems with all of my Cooler Master stuff. Yeah, this is talking like 3-4 years ago when Cooler Master had a specific batch of coolers which were notoriously bad and leaked like crazy and just left like green sludge everywhere. Yeah, it wasn't a good look. Right, so power supply. Let's do the power supply next. This is actually quite exciting. I'm quite enjoying this. I didn't think I would. Mark MC says, Mike, would you not consider using an electric screwdriver? I've got four electric screwdrivers. I don't know what it is. I just don't like using electric screwdrivers for some tasks. For outside work and for DIY tasks and that, and also the noise on the camera as well. So they are a little bit on the noisy side. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I think when I'm doing woodwork stuff, banging nails in, give me a electric screwdriver all day long. But for PC stuff, I don't know. I know it's not an art as such, building a PC, but I guess it's like an artist would use a paintbrush, whereas a painter would use a roller. That's probably not the best analogy, but hopefully you kind of understand what I mean there. I don't really, but hopefully you do. Right, LED switch. Right, there's an LED cable there, so I need to take that one off. So, as is the case on most cases, excuse the pun, they've actually repurposed the reset switch as a LED switch. So I'm going to stick that on there. Cable management and stuff like that, I probably will have a very, very small stab at. Not a great deal. Let's see how it goes. Power supply. Do I want to do power supply or do I want to do motherboard? I think I'll stick the motherboard in next. I'm indecisive, or at least I would be if I could make my mind up. So let's see which screws we need for the motherboard. So that is there. I've got to try not to mix these screws up now. I don't want to get them mixed up, because if I do decide at some point to sell this PC, which potentially I might do, it is getting to the point where, as always, we've just gone through winter and we're going into the season where Chinese New Year. After Chinese New Year, everything steps up a gear. So there's going to be a load of new cases, a load of new peripherals, all that kind of stuff. And realistically, I do need to clear some of this stuff away and get on and start looking at other items. So yeah, I might turn around and just say, actually, this PC, tested it, it works. If somebody wants to make me an offer, then I would gladly let it go to a home where it's going to be in use pretty much all the time. Which is what should happen with PC stuff. I hate having PC stuff sat on a shelf, sat there doing nothing.
Standoffs in the right place?
Standoffs are in the right place. I have checked the standoffs. Thank you, whoever it was who said that. It's always worth checking your standoffs.
Matthew Day.
Thank you, Matthew. You can always count on Matthew for some sensible advice. He's a good lad. And he knows way too much about electronics. Like crazy amounts. Right, I'm going to have to put this down a minute to get the first couple of screws in. I don't want this going horribly wrong. Just get the overhead camera back on and hopefully you can see some of that.
Afik says thanks. It's 6 AM in Malaysia right now.
6 AM in Malaysia, wow.
Starting Sunday morning watching PC build.
Nice. I'll be starting Sunday morning watching probably rain falling down to my eyelids as I'm walking to work. Who'd be me? Right. Top tip, if you're actually putting in motherboard screws, if you start putting them in and you feel it starting to bind, where the screw threads aren't lined up enough, all you need to do is just undo the screw until you feel a little bit of a notch. So typically these are all going in perfectly now, just so I can't show you. It's actually a really handy little tip. These aren't the easiest to get to. Right, that one did it, so reverse. Nope. Ah, wrong thread. Easy to do with my limited vision in this particular case. I do need an overhead lamp, I think, which I have actually got one. I'm just too bloody lazy to keep on charging it because it's a USB.
What's the total budget spend for this build?
Total budget spend for this build, based on what I've paid, well actually based on what you could buy similar yourselves, it's going to be in the region of about $750. That is UK pounds. UK Vamp says, hope it's not raining tomorrow. I want to nip out to the DIY store. I think tomorrow is the beginning of the end of the world in terms of the biblical storm we're going to get. And then we're going to get snow. And then after that, we're going to get a plague of locusts. And then we're going to get 40 days of rain. I think I read it somewhere. Right, so that's all of our screws. I know, missed out one at the top. I was going to make this like a try and do an all ASUS build, and I seem to be going that way at the moment. I'm getting like this real OCD shit going on where I want all the components to be matching. But if I did do that, this would end up running with the RX 6500 XT, which for video editing tasks is going to be an absolute pile of shizen. So I'm definitely not keen on doing that. Right, so there we go. ASUS Tough is such an unusual brand because they insist on doing all these weird and wonderful colours. Like, I know it's a theme. I do get that. The whole idea is not lost on me. It just seems so bloody pointless. Like, if you're going to do it as a brand, do it as something which is relatively like flexible.
Brian said you could get one of those lights that go in your head.
I have got one of those head torches.
But you lost it.
It is around here somewhere, which is often the case. There is this room. I'm not kidding you.
Why can't you use that torch thing on that thing?
Because I forgot to charge it up. I have got I have got my magnetic torch, but well, actually,
not at the camera.
yeah, it's not too bad. It's lost about, well, it's lost a lot of its brightness because I forgot to charge it. I was using it yesterday because yesterday was an absolute ball ache. I built, for those of you who've been in the channel a long time, I was sent ages ago the Colink, the Unity Nexus. And the Unity Nexus was a weird case that had four interchangeable front glass panels. And the glass panels basically acted as a complete choking point. Now, I did say when I made the video that I really wasn't actually that keen on doing a build in it, even though the case itself was freaking amazing. You could get a 420 radiator up front, a 360 in the top, a 140 in the back, tons of room in there. You could put water pumps, all that kind of stuff in, add really nice drive cages, loads of pass-throughs. Yeah, just brilliant design. But they put this awful goddamn front panel on it, which essentially is restricting a lot of the airflow. Now, most people, if you're building a relatively high-end system these days, what is the kind of your thing? It's performance, and performance generally relies upon airflow, because otherwise things get really hot really quick. So I was thinking, what can I do with this case? I did want to just sell it, get rid of it, because it was just getting on my nerves. It was a massive case, massive box. And last night I thought, right, F it, I'm going to stick all my stuff from my own video editing PC, I'm going to stick it all in there, I'm just going to use it and see what it's like, to get an idea of what the temperatures are like. So I put it all in there, and then I went to put the PC back actually inside my desk, which is like a little cubicle desk, and it physically wouldn't fit in the recess for where my computer normally lives without taking the door off. So clearly for me, as someone who tinkers with the PC and I'm using the PC in and out, swapping coolers and all that kind of stuff, that was not going to work for me. So I ended up taking it all back apart again, and literally as I was about to take it apart, one of my local friends messaged, who does some work for some local charities and stuff, and he's like, oh Mike, do you have any cases going at the moment? It's like, that is just the best timing ever. So yeah, we luckily managed to dodge a little bit of a bullet and actually make some room under the table, which is absolutely amazing. I'm so pleased to clear some space. I really want to get some more cases in and do some more case reviews, but they just take up so much room. It's just insane how much room they take up. So hopefully now we're starting to clear some space, get some new stock in, give you guys something a little bit more interesting to be looking at, which is good.
I'm telling you, for that £740, would it be better to build a 57G PC?
A 57G PC, probably not. 5700G is kind of okay, but the graphics on it, if you put these two side by side with the GTX 1070 versus the onboard graphics of the 5700G, yeah, it's going to annihilate it, like massively annihilate it. So no, the 5700G processor-wise, obviously 8 cores, 16 threads, is going to be an improvement, but yeah, for what we're trying to achieve and for just raw power, it's not going to come close. Where we want SATAs. I hate it when these all look the same. So many SATAs I'm going to need. I'm going to need one for the RGB. I need one for the drive down the bottom, so I can take a spur off of that. That'll be fine. Graphics card wise, got one 8-pin. That's all we need. And we need our EPS. So that's going to be on the top row. And that is one of those. God, these all look so similar. I'm glad they're not color coded because that was awful. Actually, have we got a spare? Oh no, it's only a single 4-pin on there. So I think that is all we need. So we've got 24-pin power connector, a bunch of SATAs, got our graphics card connection, and we've got our EPS. That'll do. That'll do for me.
William Bodie, those licorice sweets were lovely.
Sorry?
William Bodie, those licorice sweets.
Oh yeah, William, Kath says, and I say as well, those licorice sweets were amazing. Thank you so much. They were bloody good. Although not so good for my my weight loss. Well, I say weight loss, loss is probably not the right word. I won't be able to get any budgie smugglers on in the summer now. Which is probably going to be a result for a lot of people. All right, let's get this in. I'm not sure. I've got some screws there. We use those. I'm going to stick 4 screws into the back of the power supply. I hope this power supply actually works out, and I hope it was just a weird glitch thing. Luckily, this processor and the graphics card are going to draw quite a bit of power. They're not going to draw the whole 650 watts, although it's gold, so take off like 5% for that. So what's that? About 600 watts-ish.
Stuart and the Trojan are in.
Hello Stuart and hello the Trojan. How are you guys doing? Right, so I don't need any of those now, I don't think. There's a Molex in there, I definitely don't need a Molex. Right, let's clear up some more of this desk. Okay, so we're finally getting somewhere here. And I think I could still move the cables a little bit. Oh, no I can't. Oh, that's gone wrong. Oh no. Perfect. Right, so we're going to put in the HD audio connection. I'm going to get out of the way now because if I put the graphics card in, I'm never ever going to get to it. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to be a thing. So let's move that. Don't mix the screws. Don't cross the streams. Power supply bits. Oh crap. So USB, that one's going to be nice and easy. That is there. Actually, where's the pin? Bottom right.
Welly Bob wanted to see Poppy, but she's outside chasing things, the winds.
Yeah, Poppy's gone outside in the wind. I don't know if she's actually been blown away somewhere.
But she's She likes chasing moss and stuff.
Yeah, all the moss is coming off the roof and she's out there chasing all the moss on the floor. Ooh, that didn't feel very good. That felt like it didn't go in properly. No, looks okay, I think. Yeah, that's fine.
Which i5 is it?
It is the i5 10600 in this build. I'm not sure it was who asked the question. Oh, Trojan. Oh, where's my massive screwdriver? There he is. I'll give that a little bit of a twist. Nice.
Wouldn't a more powerful power supply be better for any future upgrades?
Well, spit out Mike. Potentially a larger power supply would be useful. I have actually got a Gamemax Rampage 700 watt, which I was considering putting in there. Actually, is that a 750? I can't see, it says in that box there. I've got a 750 watt, which I could have put in, but it was a bronze rated rather than a gold rated. So I figured because potentially this is going to be for video editing, the potential reliability and efficiencies of a gold power supply might make the system more stable. Now I say might because there's so many variables when it comes to power supplies and the kind of the bogus ratings they put on them. So I wouldn't say that that is an absolute gospel thing, but it certainly won't hurt it. That's not made any sense at all. Even in my head, that didn't make sense and I said it. Yeah, essentially I should have probably done that. Right, let's get this EPS connector in because that is going to be a bit of a ball ache. Although saying that, oh yeah, it is one of those. It's one of those awkward ones that doesn't lock together. And it's not got a lot of extra slack in the cable either. And I can't see it, which doesn't help. Ooh, I think that's actually gone in first time. Almost kind of. Things like power cables, if you're not too sure, double check them. Because there's nothing worse than when you've got the PC all built up and you've turned it on and it doesn't power up and you're like, oh right, so which bit did I mess up? So it's a lot easier if there's any uncertainty at all, check it now before you go too far. And that is, that's pretty good.
What's the GPU?
GPU is a GTX 1070. All the links for all the parts and the descriptions are in the video description. Just scroll down and it's all there. That cable could have done with being longer actually. Never mind. Never mind. Right, so SATA, yes, that one there. I am kind of talking to myself as I go. I find it helps. Do you guys do that when you're building a PC? You're there kind of chatting to yourself? Or do you have the radio on? Or do you have the TV on? Or do you have a YouTube channel on, for example? How do you build yours? That sounds like something Cadbury's would say. I quite often like to put on a little bit of 80s radio. Streamed, obviously, because we don't have a TV license. Although, do you actually need a radio license these days? I don't know if that is actually a case anymore. I suppose you do. TV and radio are all kind of in the same thing, aren't they?
I don't bang until you plug it in.
There's something really weird going on with the YouTube thing. The concurrent viewers keeps on flicking between 60 and 110.
Mine's on 107.
107? That's close enough, that'll do.
That was on 104.
That'll do for me. Yep, so it's pretty stormy out there. I don't know if you guys can hear it coming through on the microphone. We were supposed to be having a new roof put in. Some of you may already know this, so I won't bore you to tears with it. But that still hasn't happened. So potentially it could be actually a lifesaver. Not literally, but it could be actually a saving grace. because if it gets really windy tonight and we lose bits off the roof, then we can claim on the insurance, so it won't cost me. There's a benefit, some there. I like the idea of that.
Just pay for it over the next lifetime.
Yeah, we'll just pay for it for our insurance for the rest of our lives. How fine. Right, so we've got here power switch and power LED. So we might as well go ahead and stick on those. I'm going to wrap those around there. Let's have a look. Matthew Day says, trying to remember, did we get PC Building Simulator on Epic giveaway? Yeah, I think it was. Not sure if it was on Epic, but it was definitely on some... Yeah, I think it was on Epic, actually. Markovsky says, take no notice of numbers, Mike, they fiddle them.
Do they?
No. Who'd have thought that? Ugly Bob says, I use Radio Garden to stream my radio from around the world. Radio Garden? What's Radio Garden? I've never heard of that.
It's like Radio Gaga, but...
It's like Radio Gaga, but less Queen-like. Oh, this is the... I hate... Have I ever mentioned this before? ASUS motherboards. Like, every other motherboard has got a standard I/O pin out. Oh. And there's the torch gone. I think it was too good to be true. Right, I'm just going to wire it as I would normally. So, HDD... I'm pretty sure it is the same layout, isn't it? It's been such a long time since I've done an ASUS board.
You need some carbon wrap on that PSU.
I do need some carbon wrap on that PSU. If this works out, I'm going to take it out and put it on. But I'm not counting any of my chickens before they've become roosters. Oh, God. Right, somebody please 3D print me a connection to do this. ASUS used to do this in the boards. They used to actually have a little adapter. So you could plug all your front panel connectors into the adapter, then plug the whole adapter onto your front panel connection, which made life considerably easier. If only they did that now. So what else we got left? So the graphics card, power, we can put that through in a minute. SATA power, that's all that side. So let's get the CPU cooler on. I quite like this mounting mechanism, sometimes.
Radio Garden is like Google Earth. You go to where you want to listen to the radio around the world, and it's there in all its oral glory.
Oh, oral glory. Sounds good, Bob.
That's a big word.
It is a big
For a
word.
little-
For a Saturday, that's a bloody big word.
Is Bob not drinking?
I think he must be sober.
He's having those herbal teas.
That's what it is. Herbal teas have made him sound intelligent.
SC said their fingers are too fat to do that bit.
Mine are as well, so don't worry about it, it's fine. Right, this is I'm not quite on the right angle for this. Actually, that looks pretty dope. Oh, I just said that. That looks pretty dope.
How old are you?
I'm not young enough to say that's pretty dope, that's for sure. I can feel the cringe meter going. I do apologise for that.
Last time Matthew Day sellotaped his connectors in formation.
That's a good idea. Super glue would do it.
But you always get your fingers stuck.
I do. I'm not sure about this mounting mechanism. Oh well, we'll see if it catches on fire. If it does, we will laugh and put it down to another one of those mistakes. Yeah, it feels pretty secure in there. I'm a bit concerned about these pipes though.
Tristan said thermal paste question mark. Does that mean what one you use?
Thermal paste, yeah, we used the Arctic MX5 on this. So I'm going to set the pump. Now this is actually quite an interesting pump on the Fractal Design. So you can set it to auto. So there is like a linear curve from kind of 0 up to 100%. And as the temperature goes up through a predefined range, it will ramp up accordingly. Or you can turn this round, tiny little bit, just on the outside ring there. There's two markers, one for PWM, one for auto. So I'm going to set it into PWM. Then all you need to do is there's a single header, and all you do is plug that straight into the CPU main header. You don't plug it into the water block or anything like that, just into the CPU header, and the system knows what to do. Which actually is quite impressive. It's one of the few AIOs which actually has impressed me quite a lot.
Ugly Bob said, who do you think you are? Mike, I am.
Mike, I am. More like Dick, I is.
Dicky is. Tristan said, is thermal paste pre-loaded by MFG?
Thermal paste is normally, this is a cooler which I've used a couple of times before. So I've actually, earlier on the stream, I put some MX5 on there and used my spatula or spreader and just spread a thin layer of paste across the top of the CPU. I think we are almost there. Oh, SATA cable. So I am putting a SATA drive in here. So a SATA data cable is going to be useful. I didn't even look to see if there was one in here actually. I can't remember the last time I actually used a SATA cable. Anyone else out there having that same thing at the moment? You've not used a SATA cable in a long, long time?
SC said, rotate the AIO block 90 degrees right to fit pipes in.
90 degrees to the right. Oh, what, to coil them round? I think it's going to be alright. I think they actually do fit. It just looks on the angle that it won't.
It doesn't look like it looks like it will from my angle.
If I spin it around a bit more, it's only very, very slightly. I'm not sure. Let me see what you're seeing. Yeah, it's pretty much kind of like there, but a little tiny push and it'll be fine. As soon as I get some heat going through them, they'll settle down a bit. And actually, if I bend that, yeah, there we go. So that's going to do it. That'll be okay. That was something I was a bit concerned about earlier. I could drop the radiator down a little bit, but I don't think that's going to help a great deal. What I am going to do is I'm going to remove this bracket here. So there's a little bracket in this case for adding, you can add two 2.5 inch drives on there, SSDs or obviously mechanical drives. But because we've got this radiator here, we've got the third fan at the bottom. So because this is all ventilated, all meshed up, so some of the air which is brought through there, even though it's going to be slightly warm air, some warm air rather than no air is going to be good because it will be basically displacement air. So you're going to get some airflow going into where the graphics card is. It's not going to be ideal, but it is going to be airflow. And some airflow, again, is, well, better than no airflow. Yes, Kath?
Relox says, do you recommend a website called PC Part Picker?
PC Part Picker, I do, but I don't. I use it myself for making some content, which you can see there's some recent videos we've done. The thing is with PC Part Picker, they quite often are a little bit overboard on warnings, on compatibility, and also the prices aren't always updated very quickly. So you might go on PC Part Picker and think, right, this is my perfect build, this is exactly what I'm going to go for. But then when you actually go to buy it, the prices are completely different. So yeah, don't take everything on there as being completely gospel, but certainly for a tool for building a PC and getting an idea of what you can get for your money, yeah, definitely worth doing. But yeah, never ever, when it says buy all parts now, don't click on that, because it'll just go through and you probably won't get the best prices. Much better to actually go to the individual stores that they're listing and then look and see what the prices are, and maybe even refresh the page to make sure that the prices are unchanged, that sort of thing. Yeah, or we've got our Discord chat. You can go in there and we can give you advice. It may not always be good advice, but it will be advice. So let's put a hard drive in. Nice little removable cage on there on little rubber dampeners, which is always welcome. And all we've got to do is put that through, and let's put the overhead on. And we're going to put some screws down through those little holes there. There we go. So you've got 3 little holes there, there, and there. You don't really need to put all those screws in. So I think I might just put in, actually, how many screws have I got? That is going to come down to the factor, because they quite often don't expect you to be putting this many drives in, like one drive, for some reason. Oh, actually, I did use some of those screws for the power supply, which I probably shouldn't have done. Actually, is there screws in the PCI blanking? I'm struggling with my words tonight, I really am. So what we're going to do is, when this is all built, I'm going to do a little test setup, fire it up. I've got a little monitor here, so I can I can plug it into a little monitor. I'm not going to be able to see a great deal on the monitor because it's only a 7-inch monitor, but we'll certainly see if it boots and posts and that. Then over the next day or two, I'm going to be doing a Windows install, doing all my testing, etc. And then I'll be doing a wrap-up video on this, which will be released shortly, telling you my findings. We'll go through, do some benchmarks, do some game results, all that kind of stuff. Some temperatures are going to be definitely something which I want to look at, because obviously this is a case which I've not used before. I've used similar, but I haven't used it, so I want to know how that goes. So that is the drive in a little caddy. You can, if you want to use SSD, you can put an SSD on that top as well. You can screw through there. A couple of screws in various places, so pretty good. Nice bit of ventilation on it as well, so it's going to get a bit of fresh air. And to put it back in, all you do is line it up at the bottom there and push it forward, and it locks into place. Nice design, I really like it. And our SATA cable is coming out just underneath there, so we can stick that into the drive. Might as well do that now, being as we are in the vicinity. Then I'm going to tuck the rest of those cables back up underneath there, although I'm going to want to try and avoid where the AIO is, because we don't want to have any issues with that. And actually that cable can probably go there.
Will you be benchmarking it with Radio Garden?
Will I be benchmarking it with Radio Garden? Is that Bob?
No, the Trojan.
The Trojan? Yeah, I might do. I might benchmark it with Radio Garden. That seems like a really good idea.
And do you know the shipping time with Newegg?
I don't, unfortunately. No, shipping time with Newegg is something... I've never actually bought anything from Newegg. It's one of those companies that, because we're in the United Kingdom, Newegg is one of those companies which is kind of so far out on the periphery. They do have some really good prices, but unfortunately, the kind of shipping taxes and all that kind of stuff are quite heavy, getting stuff to the UK. So yeah, not something that we really do. Although saying that, let me know what you guys are thinking, because if you are someone who buys from Newegg on a regular basis, are you getting some good deals? Is it worthwhile? Would you recommend it? Is the shipping fast? Help out the guy in the chat. Let him know. Because I don't know the answers. I know some answers, especially the easy ones. Right, I'm just going to put those cables in somewhere out of the way for now and get that back panel on so no one sees the mess which is going on in there. Did I reconnect the... Yes, I did. Just making sure I connected back up the RGB.
Ricardo's off.
Cheers, Ricardo. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so let's get the card La Graphique installed. So where are we looking on here? So matchup. I like the fact that this case has got removable PCI Express blanking plates. It's just such a nice experience. This actually, I'll be honest with you, this whole build experience has been quite nice. I think it's probably because I've had experience of this style of case before that it's actually been moderately pleasurable.
Suitcase close method.
Yeah.
Vlox is in the UK themselves. Do you know any other websites that are in the UK with good pricing?
Yeah, well, I use eBuyer quite a lot. They're quite good. Scan, overclockers.co.uk for some things.
PCL.
If you're not sure, on our Discord in the bargains no chat section, there are bargains and stuff listed in there. I would say hourly, but that's probably over-egging it a little bit. But there are links in there pretty much all the time for some really awesome bargains. Bob posts quite a lot in there. Seam at Night on our Discord posts a lot in there. Dave Aitkins, some of the other guys. I'm probably missing out loads of names. I do apologise. Ghost Adder, Noob. Yeah,
Hugs.
I did say Ugly Bob.
Oh, sorry.
Loads of people posting deals in there pretty much all day long. And yeah, quite a lot of the stuff I actually buy for the channel does come from UK Hot Deals via links that I've had in our Discord. Right, it's graphics card time. There's a cat hair.
James is off to do some dishes.
Thanks, James. Thanks for stopping by. Enjoy the dishes, if you can.
Play Tetris with them.
Yeah, play Tetris on your draining stand. That's a game that loads of people enjoy playing on a regular basis, almost as much as concurrent users on Steam for CSGO, apparently. I jest, of course.
You just watch me playing it.
I just watch Klevv play it. Yeah, I'm not very good at that game. I say to Klevv, yeah, I'm not too sure. Can you just do that again? I don't think I'm getting it. There's our graphics card connected. Actually, I didn't route that through there particularly well. I should have put that through the bottom. Oh well. See, well, that looks fine. So there we go. I think that is the finished build.
Did you mention UK Hot Deals?
Yes.
Because Ugly Bob said I can't put any because I'm barred.
Why did you get barred from UK Hot? You can't put any.
Mm.
Yeah.
I got barred because I shared your video.
So what are your thoughts, everybody? I think it actually don't look too bad. But we haven't fired it up yet, so I'm going to grab a power cable, which hopefully is still plugged in. And let's see if it actually springs into life. I think we've got diagnostic LEDs on here, so it should be all right. It'll probably say, you haven't installed anything, like a power, like a monitor or anything.
Bang!
You absolute arse. Well, it worked. How delayed is that? Oh, it's really delayed on screen. So let's press the LED button and cycle that through so it's connected to the motherboard. And it will do nothing. Oh, there we go.
Bang!
Yay, we have unicorn puke ignition. Boom. There we go. And actually, considering it's just booted up and it's not really doing anything, well, it is, obviously, it's doing something. Doesn't seem too noisy. We must be in the BIOS because the fans are... Right. That's stopped. That's stopped. What LED light have we got up there? There is an LED on there, so I'm going to have to get my little monitor out so I can see what the flipping heck is going on. Tell you what, if I stick... How can I do this? Yeah, I'll get the little monitor. Bear with me a second, people. Ugh. Oh God, I'm too short.
Get Poppy to get up there and get it down.
Yeah, Poppy, climb up and get the bloody monitor down for me.
All that RGB is going to also overclock by 20%.
All the RGBs, we have all the RGBs going on.
Intrusion, that was.
I'm not going to be able to see this, am I? Right, let's unplug that a minute. Doo-doo. Dee. Oh, that USB, yeah, I think that's going to be a bit too short.
Can't believe tune, you'll get demonetized now.
Oh no. Why, because I think I'm Japanese, I really think so. That's not even that one, is it? Or is it? I don't know. See, these drawers actually do have a use. They're not just there for decorative purposes, they are full of shite.
They are the messy drawer times 4.
They are the messy drawer. Oh, and that is going to be too short also, isn't it? I'm glad I thought about this earlier. Oh, actually, could I? No, that. I have actually got a USB capture device, so I could plumb the signal straight into the stream. But I fear if I plug anything else into the computer, it is going to get very, very upset at me very, very quickly. Because it doesn't like all the stuff plugged into it as it is. come on, where is it?
Information asked, so you can get a 360mm rad in that case.
Yeah, 360mm rad up front. Nice. And one of those, and one of those. And what we got? Oh, we got no signal. Perfect. So what have we got no signal then? Ah, IGP.
James is back.
Hello, James.
Thanks for cheering him on when he gets dishes.
Have we got a signal now? Nope, no signal. Okay. There you go. We have absolutely no signal. Let's fire up again. Wonder if it'll detect the fact it's actually on the onboard. I'm not hearing the BIOS bleep either. Which could be because of the RAM. It might not like that RAM. Oh, there we go. We're getting something.
I like to ask chickens.
We got, hey, here we go. Tough gaming. Woo, we're in the BIOS. So it did work eventually. iCore i5 10600, CPU at 3.3 gigahertz, memory 16 gigs, DDR4 2133. New CPU installed. Next you will go into UEFI. Okay, great. Where is my mouse? Where did I put my mouse? Oh, I just heard a hard drive. I don't like those noises. I forgot how much I dislike the noise of hard drives. Especially when you've got one of those drives where it parks itself all the time. Is that working? Press F1 to continue. Okay. Right, we're in the BIOS. You can't see this, so I do apologise. So,
Is that Glenn's Fractal Lumen from the Discord?
what's that?
Is that Glenn's Fractal Lumen from the Discord?
No. Right, boot. So compatibility mode. Boot configuration. Fast boot. Come on, where's the BBS drives? Where is it? Seeing a BIOS when it's this small is not easy.
Having eyes as bad as yours aren't. It's not easy.
It's true.
Check your glasses.
It's very small. Monitor. Boot. Come on, where's boot discs? That's all I want. Oh, this is rubbish. You'd think it would say somewhere, like, what drives are connected. Advanced, it must be in here somewhere. System agent, no, CPU, platform, PCI Express, blah 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 blah. Oh, I don't care. Load optimized defaults, yes, do that. Then exit. Oh, you absolute arse. I forgot how much I dislike this. DRAM frequency.
Someone's put F10.
It's got a target CPU of some ridiculous thing now. AI overclock tuner XMP1. Right, let's do that. exit, save changes and reset. Right, let's see if it'll actually boot up. I'm sorry that I can't really show you what's on the screen here. It is quite frustrating. Oh, I didn't have that connected, did I, on boot? So that's going to be upset.
Intel, as in the name, is only for intelligent people.
Ah, that's what went wrong. Ah, it's working now. So now we're plugged into the graphics card, so I can show you that a little bit because it will actually come around further. So, oh, it's gone into the BIOS, so that means there's nothing on the drive, which makes sense because I'm sure I turned off the drive or didn't install anything. DRAM is... Alright, it's gone back to 2666. Oh no, it's not XMP enabled, 3600. Happy days. I can live with that. So that has actually worked out pretty well. I'm quite pleased. Let's turn that off, because I'm not going to be able to install Windows with that being that small, because that is just horrendous. I need to work on this monitor setup, I really do. Right, so that is that done. Let's take some of your questions, because I think we're done with that. I am positively, I'm quite impressed. Oh, jeez. No, it's heavy. Heavy PC now. Surprising how much difference a radiator and a hard drive makes to a PC. Try and stand up without standing on the cable. Right. And relax. Bloody hell. That was hard work. Okay, so let's see what you guys are saying. Talking about the weather. I love weather. In the UK, we do talk about the weather an awful lot. Probably too much. We are obsessed with it. Being an island nation, our weather is very changeable from one extreme to another, and we're never prepared for it. So we have got snow coming relatively soon, I think. They keep on promising it, but it doesn't actually happen, so I'll be interested to see what it happens. And see how much we get. That could be quite scary.
What's that, sorry?
Snow.
Oh, they're wrong. We never...
I know they're always wrong, but...
They can't get the temperature right from yesterday.
Yeah, that is very true. So let's go ahead and see if you've got any questions on the build or anything else actually related. Go for your life. That is, I've done the build, so I'm going to have to do the install and all that. I might try and do that... I might try and do that in a stream, actually, and see if we can do a Windows install. William Bodie says, Mike never drinks the fax beer, only the ass beer. The fax beer still scares me. I've got to be honest with you, on a stream, I think I'd be absolutely off my rocker. I haven't drank any beer, actually, at the moment. There's one thing. The Saturday night streams are a real nulls at the moment, because I have to work on a Sunday. I think it's because it's winter. And I have to get up, and it's winter. And I don't know, it's just... We're tired. It's a long day. Get up early in the next morning. It's not good. Not really a drinking environment. We should do though. Alexa says, questions on the build. What build? Why is that still not working? I do not know. That is very strange. So what else? Icorizer. Would NVIDIA... Oh. Hey, do I change my graphics card in a laptop?
How do I?
How do Right, changing a graphics card in a laptop isn't as daft as it sounds. Most times, integrated hardware on a laptop will be built into the motherboard, in which case it's soldered on, so there's nothing you can do about it. Basically, the specification you buy from the shop, that is it. Some laptops use what they call the MXM, or it's like a multimedia extension module. Basically a plug-in graphics card. Some Dell models support it, some HPs and various other models throughout the range. What you want to first of all see what MXM cards your board will physically support. And also you do have to bear in mind as well your power supply. If you're upgrading a power supply, the MXM GPUs they all use slightly different voltages and wattages, etc, etc. So you do have to be really careful. It's not something which I would personally try and do myself, because I think there's a lot of pitfalls. You can spend an awful lot of money and still not have it work because the BIOS won't accept it or whatever it is. So theoretically it can be done. Practically, I would say it's not something that I would attempt. So unless you're extremely comfortable with what you're doing, or you're in a position where you can order a card and then send it back if it doesn't work, even if it is your fault, then go for it. But do your research, due diligence, see what is likely to work on there. It is an extreme minefield. So hopefully that answers your question. James Brock says, who loves you, Mike? I don't know. Calf, obviously, and probably the cats. Although I think they look at me as if they want to just eat me when I'm dead. Which is fine, because I'll be dead, so not really particularly bothered. Really Random Views says, we are having a storm brewing now in the northwest.
Uh-oh.
It doesn't sound good, does it? Fred Brown says, have a beer now, Mike, good job. Actually, what the hell, let's have a beer. Oh, I've got time for a quick beer.
I'll grab you one.
Get me the low percentage facts and the jug, please. And potentially some ice.
Oh, I've got so much piled on top.
Oh, I'll be back. Hang on, Poppy, say hello. No, Poppy, say hello. That's the monitor I use for looking at a stream, and that is what you guys see. There you go, there's a little studio. Poppy, don't play with the camera. There she is. Bless her. She got such a long tail. Which is handy, because when she does something wrong, you just grab it and swing it around the room.
Of course you don't. What one?
That.
That one's 5%. I don't know what that one is.
Let's have a look. 6, so let's go with the 5. I'll take that in. Chuck a bit of ice in that jug for me, please, Babs. Thank you. Sorry about this, ladies and gentlemen. We're just having a little conversation off camera there. It's not really off camera because the microphone's still going. I nearly went. I'm not drunk, honest. So here we go with the facts. I think Kath shook that before I got it. That's pretty nice. Yeah, that's fine. It's just to take the chill off it a bit. Take the warmth off it. Let's go. Just a little post-stream drink. James Messina says, can't we go one stream without seeing anus? Sadly, I am the host. Get down, you little bastard.
Maisy's done hers.
Oh, Maisie. This has got quite a head on it. Alexa says, I want to see Poppy with RGB. Well, when I set fire to her, you'll see a lot of orange.
What do you mean? I can't believe you're joking. Jay Rich says Poppy's growing. She is. She eats about 3 cans of, about 2 or 3 cans of pet food a day. Cheers, William. Thank you for the facts. That's actually quite nice. I say that's quite disingenuous what I said there, as if I was surprised it's nice. It is actually really tasty. Poppy, stop.
It hasn't got that real kind of hoppy taste to it. It's more of it's quite a, despite the fact of the colour of it, it's actually quite a, almost like a pale, if that makes any sense, although I know absolutely bugger all. Ugly Bob says, head straight beer, 50-50 split. Get off here with all the screws, Kath. I'm going to murder you, I swear to God. Right, let me get rid of these screws before the cats send them flying. Oh dear. Right, stick your questions in, kids. Let's see what you're saying. Mark Berry says, I'm also T2 diabetic, try keto or carnivore diet, and you'll definitely lower your A1C. Been on it for about a year now, and I'm borderline normal pre-diabetic. Oh, that's good to hear. Stuart Cleary, €10, and says, cheers, Mike. Some head on that beer. I know. It's going though. It's going down. Weirdly, it seems like it was like 50-50 just now, and it seems like it's going up quite quickly. Is it one of those magical refilling jugs? I like those. There's still more in the can. Look at that. That's the proper deal, that, isn't it? I am going to be pissing all night. I'm not going to put too fine a point on it. Let's just be real. That's what's going to happen. I am going to be pissing like a darn racehorse.
You need a magnetic tray.
This thing's heavy. This is almost as heavy as that PC. Muckless says you need a magnetic tray. I do. It's full up with screws. I have got another magnetic tray actually, which is currently attached to the side of the fridge freezer. But it's holding up pictures, so I can't really move it.
You can.
Christ. I'm never going to get to the bottom of that.
So you said you used to stream on a Sunday.
Did I?
I can't remember.
I might have done.
I might have done a few build streams on a Sunday.
I might have done the occasional stream on a Sunday. I really should get back into that, but then because I get up a bit earlier on a Sunday to go to work, by the time I get home from work, I'm knackered. And all I want to do is just sit in my chair and answer YouTube questions, which is quite often what I do. Yeah, Saeed, any plans to stream on a Sunday? I don't know. Sunday might be better in some instances, but then sometimes on a Sunday we might go out for some food. So if there is likelihood we're going to go out for food, it's more than likely going to be on a Sunday if we do, because of other family being around and stuff like that. So yeah, it's always a difficult one. I am slightly considering moving the stream to a different day. It's something it's always a thing on a Saturday where there's generally something that goes wrong. So it would be nice to find another day, but I think weekdays for streams and builds probably won't get the same levels of viewership, although possibly if it's earlier in the day it might do better. I don't know, maybe not. We'll have to work on it. J Rich says the best UK tech show on YouTube. You haven't left a link for it. Where is it? Fred Brown, is that cold beer? Yeah, it's pretty cold. It's not freezing cold, but it's chilled. O'Reilly says Mike needs a full Sunday roast with the Fags beer. That's probably not a bad idea.
Did you not get a magnetic tray with the iFixit kit?
I don't know. No, it's plastic, I think.
Bob said there was one in his.
I think so. No, it's plastic. There's a tray, but it's plastic, I think. Mark says all you need now is lederhosen and a feather cap, and you're there. Yodelay-oo. No, that's the other one, isn't it? That's the Holland people, isn't it? I don't know. As soon as you go sort of north of Gloucester or south of London, I'm kind of knackered. I don't know where anything is or what they do. I'm quite introverted in that respect.
Aren't we south of London?
No, we're kind of, we're east of London. Trojan says, nice looking build by the way. Thank you very much. It's not bad. I'll try and get some nice B-roll when I do the review on the case in full and the build, etc. See what it's like. So get some good pictures of it. Ugly Bob says those adapters that go into the motherboard front panel pins is called a Q connector. That is, yeah, ASUS did that for a long time. I'm sure they used to come with every motherboard. Although most modern, other than ASUS, I think all motherboard manufacturers now, they all use exactly the same pinouts. So I don't know why case manufacturers haven't just gone with a block connector. Surely it'd make a lot more sense.
Muckless is off.
Cheers, Muckless. Thanks, Saeed. Rich M says, is that an Apple Watch mic? Yes, it is. I think it's the version 3. It's pretty old now. Say on the back somewhere? I can't even read it.
We're west of London. Of course we are. Never eat shredded wheat.
Yeah, but if you look on the map, London's to the west of us. So we're on the east of London. Because we're on the opposite side. If you're from...
London over there. And we're here.
Yeah.
So that's west. Never eat shredded wheat.
We're in the southwest. And London's in the middle of the country.
Well, Ugly Bob.
We are to the west of London.
Yeah.
And London is to the east of us.
You're west of London, Ugly Bob says.
Never eat shredded. If you look at the map, we're not. We're east. London is over to our east.
Do you want your glasses?
Yeah, I'm going to draw a diagram. Let's do L is London and B is Bristol. I don't know. We're 120 miles away from London. That's all I know.
Nice stream. Just a shame it was Intel.
Oh, actually, yeah. London, never eat shredded wheat. Yeah, so we're to the west of London, and London is to the east of us. Is that what I said? UK Vamp, too much beer, Mike, you don't know your directions. I don't know my directions without beer. This might help.
Would Friday even be good for streaming?
Would Friday even be good for streaming? Possibly. Friday actually wouldn't be a bad one.
We used to do Fridays actually. When we first started, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we might have done.
Poppy.
Mark Berry says, hi Mike, bought one of those Silicon Power SSDs and so far so good. Glad to hear it. Dutch Jan says, nice stream, just a shame it was Intel. Naughty. I agree. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how well it is for video editing. Because I don't even want to think it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Potentially, if Intel is much better for video editing, I am considering building a 12th gen for my video editing rig. Because at the moment, my processor and my graphics card in my video editing rig are worth like a stupid amount of money. So if I could downgrade my graphics card slightly, but have the Intel for the video editing side of things, which would improve that, that could actually be beneficial. Don Dima TV says, 120 miles from London. I'm 7,030 miles away from London. Hello from Buenos Aires. Hiya, Buenos Aires. Where is that? Buenos Aires, is that South America? I think it might be. I'm not sure. I might need some help on that one.
We didn't learn geography at school.
I actually did geography for GCSE, but all we learned about was dikes.
And you didn't go to school much.
And I didn't really miss much, I don't think, yeah. Ugly Bob, unsubscribe. John Sullivan's Shintel. The reason I say it as well, because Intel have got those new graphics cards coming out, if they also accelerate video games and video editing in a meaningful way, having an all Intel system for content creators could be absolute dynamite.
It's in Argentina.
Yes, Argentina, South America. That is South America.
Oh, I knew that because that was in one of Julie Cooper's books when they did polo in another
Yes,
country.
Argentina,
Should have known that.
Brazil. I honestly, like I said, my geography is absolutely awful. Although I do want to visit.
It's cold there. It's bordering on Chile.
Yeah. That's one for Friday, Bob. Dutch Jan says rendering in SLI a good idea. More RAM available. I don't know if that is a thing. It might be. I don't know. I've not been lucky enough to own 2 NVIDIA cards at the same time, which would be suitable for doing that. Possibly you're right though. Where's Poppy? Is she inside that PC?
No.
Oh, it just feels like, oh, she must be at my desk. Oh, she's gone to sleep on the DeWalt section. Markovsky says I build whatever's bang for buck. I'm not that fussy. I've got to be honest with you, I'm not. You guys know me. I'm not fussy at all, and I use any old shite. As long as it don't cost a fortune and it gets the job done, I'm quite happy to use pretty much everything. But getting the job done, literally speaking, for video editing, I do spend probably almost an equal amount of time messing with my system for video editing than I do actually creating content.
She's got a screw or something.
A little bit of plastic. So if I could have a more stable system or a faster system for video editing, I could get a lot more done. So, yeah. O'Reilly says, I think my geography is as bad as Mike's. No, it won't be. UK Vamp says, I've swapped depending on what is the best power price, Intel, AMD. Yeah, I think most of us are. I think since AM3, I've probably favoured AMD more so over Intel, purely because of the amount of time that the socket has been, the longevity. Socket longevity for me, I would say, is possibly more of a defining factor than peak performance, which I think is fair to say. I think it comes down to, first of all, one of the first things I look at is compatibility, then I look at price, and then I probably look at performance. I think that is probably the order that I'd go in, depending on what I want to do. Like, I really want to do a 12th gen system, but the motherboards all seem ridiculously expensive for what they are. And I can't justify spending that much money on a motherboard which in 6 to 12 months time is going to be obsolete. Like that 10th gen board in there is obsolete now. It's still usable, but it's not current gen. So in the terms of someone buying it as a used product, if it wasn't for the market being so screwed as it is at the moment, yeah, most people will be like, knock 100 quid off because it's not a current generation. I still feel as well that AMD, on terms of the B platform, like the B450, B550, I think value for money wise and feature wise, Intel could learn a lot from them. If they did a H610 or H whatever chipset which actually allowed overclocking, and they unlocked their processors and said, right, we're unlocking the processors, if you overclock them, on your own be it, if you screw it up, it's totally your fault. I can't believe Kath is watching Jay's 2 cents over there.
You shouldn't be on there.
Unbelievable. Get off my screen, fatty. Jay's 2 cents. Yeah, Intel need to unlock chips. And they need to unlock motherboards for overclocking. As soon as they do that, AMD are history. Literally history. And I can't imagine Intel making that much money on Z-series motherboards and K-series processors over and above what they make across the whole platform, that it makes it worthwhile. Like, if they want to have a section which is like for hardcore overclockers, bring back Intel Extreme and have that as being the extreme platform. But to say to regular users like you and I that you can spend 200 quid on a processor, but it's still going to be frequency locked. It's like, that's the whole point of DIY. We build systems because we want to play with them, we want to tweak them, and when they get out of date, you want to be able to say, oh, okay, we'll just up the multiplier a little bit and squeeze a bit more performance. We'll maybe buy a new cooler because the one that's on there could do better and we could get more out of it, rather than replacing the whole platform. It just seems like Intel are just shagging it. Jay Rich says, Mike, please move the handle to the left. There you go. I'm not sure what that has done. Does that improve the taste? It's easier to grab. Waldo135. Mike, I had the kernel power 41 error, if you remember. I said in Discord, and it's very weird. I haven't got the error, and it's been a few days. Awesome. What was the last thing you changed? Error 40, kernel power or error 41 error is an absolute bastard to diagnose. It really is. Price performance should always win. I think it should do. Tristan G says, time to smoke some weed. Chocolope Indica Puff Puff in Seattle, PCs and TLC. Not TLC, that's a band. THC. No scrubs there. Rich says, Rick H. Oh, the beer's getting to me now. I'm waiting on the new Intel graphics cards. You and me both. I think that is going to be a very, very interesting situation. If Intel pull it off and manage to give stable drivers, reasonable performance even, and at a competitive price, they've sewn the market up. Especially, like I said, for content creators, streamers, stuff like that, you'll see the needle switch and it'll go, at the moment it's kind of AMD mostly for gaming, Intel for those that are doing a little bit of both, but Nvidia obviously in there as well. If Intel come out with something which is good, or even reasonable, yeah, it's going to be a massive, massive shake-up to the market. I'm looking forward to it. I'm genuinely excited to see what Intel bring to the table. If it comes out at a decent price, I am going to get a loan and I'm going to buy it. I don't care, I'm just going to do it. Because I think it needs to be done. But if it's buggy as hell and it destroys my Adobe Premiere, I will cry in the corner with a pillow over my head. Again.
Go down to Mark Muck.
Mark Muck, I know you like budget systems, but money is no object. What system would you buy, Intel or Ryzen? Ooh, I think for me, the actual platform makes no real tangible difference. I think for me, it would be the graphics card situation, which would be the bigger deciding factor. Like I said earlier, I do like to keep things together. So if I'm doing AMD, I'd like to stick with AMD because then I've got just AMD drivers. I haven't got to worry about AMD drivers, NVIDIA drivers, and all the other nonsense that comes along with all that. So I think if I went with an Intel system, I would go with the NVIDIA graphics card. And if I go with the AMD system, I'll go with the AMD graphics card.
So you didn't answer the question at all there.
But having said that, if money was no object, I would go with the Intel system. But the caveat being is because then I would use an NVIDIA graphics card with it. So I'd use a 3090 Ti with a 12900K. But I would probably prefer to go with a Ryzen 5950X and a 5900X or 5950X or whatever it is they're going to bring out. That would be my preference. But I know that Adobe Premiere wouldn't like it. It seems that I base most of my decisions around Adobe Premiere.
When you pay,
which seems,
money
yeah,
for it.
I pay those bastards, and I will say that again, bastards at Adobe, or Adobe, whatever they want to call themselves. I pay those F-wits the best part of 400 quid a year to use basically one piece of software, even though I subscribe to the whole cloud, and it's just a buggy mess.
Cock up after cock up.
And they refuse to support AMD properly in hardware. But that is, yeah, that's down to me and my stubbornness not to learn how to use DaVinci, which I should do. For my own sanity and for flexibility, I should learn to use DaVinci. But on the flip side, if there's a video editing thing that I don't know how to do, you can guarantee if you type it into Google, how do I do XYZ in Adobe Premiere, there'll be 50 or so tutorials on it. You do the same with DaVinci and they'll be like, have you read the manual? No, it doesn't come with the frickin' manual. So it's not good. I would like to be able to use it though. I'm tempted to go with the Sony Vegas.
Not Johnny.
Fred Brown says, I don't like the stupid little CPU fans on Intel CPUs. The new ones seem to be better. But I agree, the stock coolers on most systems are shite. Go AMD. Go Brandon. Tristan G. All my systems are AMD Ryzen based. All of my systems apart from that one and my Surface Pro laptop. Oh, and my Dell laptop, which I've just bought. I'm not made of money. The Surface Pro 3 was given to me. The Dell laptop I bought for £100. So let's just be real, everybody, right now, before you start getting excited.
Blake.
And also, I haven't paid for it yet. James Messina says, dump that trash and learn DaVinci, but I have it and give up trying to teach myself on it.
Go down to Blake.
Blake. Biggest cheapskate in the tech industry and he won't learn a free software package, what the fuck? Ah, dear. Cheers, Welly Bob. Good night, my friend. Yeah. Now, the thing is, free isn't always free. And just because something is cheap doesn't make it worthwhile. The actual, yeah, essentially you're the product. And if I want the full features out of DaVinci, I'm going to have to pay for it anyway. So I'm going to be in a kind of similar situation. Essentially, the free version is quite restricted. Will get you going, and it'll kind of get you hooked. But then if you want the full features, you've got to pay for it. So it's not like it's free. It's basically a demo. Ordinary Dude says Mike DaVinci has their own online tutorials. I actually have seen there's got a few YouTube channels that cover it too. I might get round to using DaVinci. I did have a quick go at it before. I think my biggest problem is that when I started using Premiere to start with, I had somebody that I worked with at the time who actually was like very, very proficient with it. And they were saying, well, no, do this and do that and do this. And it made learning it so much easier. Whereas I find with a lot of tutorials, they assume that you are semi-proficient in using the program. And I was there like, I don't even know how to import footage into this program. I just don't understand it and it seemed very alien to me. But, I don't know. James Messina says, the thing I hate about DaVinci is a big mess of an install, or at least feels that way to me. Yeah, I think that was what I found. That it just kind of, Adobe give it its faults. There's a reason why it is used by professionals, and that is because it is an extremely powerful tool. And
Powerful, really good at going wrong.
It really does. I think actually if I went over to Apple Mac and then put Adobe Premiere on it, it'd run like an absolute dream. But I don't really want to buy an Apple Mac. I do, but I don't. Aletta says, I tried DaVinci but couldn't do a thing with it or any other video software. I'll stick with writing. Yeah, I should have done really. Ordinary Dude says Adobe equals monthly subscription, DaVinci equals one-time license fee. Yeah, that is something which does annoy me. I would, if Adobe came out with a product and said like one-time license, I think people would be far more happy with that. But saying that, because of how many problems there are and how many bugs and how quickly it's evolving, the subscription service, much like a lot of programs these days, kind of makes sense to stay up to date and to get the support. You should imagine there are, I know for a fact, at least 50% of the user base of Adobe Premiere are using hacked copies, possibly even more. So it's, yeah, it's not a great situation. William Bodie says, because I send too much beer to him. You do send too much beer. Look at the state of this thing. This glass is so heavy. It's actually heavy to pick up. John says, you should use AVID. I work in AV and it's widely regarded in the industry as the standard. That's not a bad idea, actually. I wouldn't mind looking into something else, but again, it's one of those things I do need hand holding to get myself set up. Once I'm set up, I'm all good. I can find out the little bits, but it's the main kind of, right, how do you import the content? How do you organize your files? How do you do simple things like cut, copy, trim, all that kind of stuff. Final Cut is still a thing, yeah, definitely. UK Vamp, have you tried a Hackintosh? I have years and years ago, and that was on an old Intel Pentium 4 system, so that's how old it was. It was great until I pressed update, and then it just borked itself. I gave up after that. James Brock says, peace my nerds, War Thunder calls. Stay safe and take care. Take care of yourself, James. Have a lovely evening. Saeed says, Windows 10 Pro or 11 for video editing. I've used both. I don't see any obvious advantage or disadvantage of either one. So, whatever. The Ordinary Dude says, many users on Adobe still use the color correction portion of DaVinci. It's virtually the best available. As you can probably tell from my production quality levels, color grading is something which I've not got round to doing very well at all, ever. I struggle with all elements of it, to be honest with you. I've said this before, I am not an expert in anything I do, but I'm quite happy to get stuck in and try. I think if I excelled in one particular instance, I think it would be a shame, because I like to be able to do most things reasonably well, but none of them good. Stuart. Where am I looking? Stuart Cleary. I'm working with Windows since 1995. I fit 1985. I fit double glazing for a living. I've been working with Windows since 1970 something, so I've always found it hot in the summer. That's not very good. I'll get my coat. John says, I agree, learning the ropes with new software, it does take time. It does, and it's so frustrating. Like, we've got a really busy schedule. I try and film 1 or at least 2 videos a day and edit, upload, do the tags, videos, thumbnail, all that kind of stuff.
Sing your own theme tune. Sing
the theme tune, write the theme tune. It's all that stuff. And it's not easy, because you've got to research stuff. Like, what did I do the other day? Oh, this shaver. If you're wondering why I look particularly well groomed at the moment, I had this shaver from Moonshave. So obviously, if you're doing a review of a shaver, you can't just plug it in and use it. Although I did. What the hell is that? Poppy, what the hell are you doing? Come here, you crazy fool. Come here. Oh dear. There you go. You gonna go sleep there? Where are you going now? Oh, you going up there? Okay. What it's like to be just a stepladder for bloody cats. Anyway, so yeah, I got to send this review, And you can't just take it out of the box and use it. So you've got to do things like you've got to investigate it, see how it works, see how it all comes apart, all that kind of stuff. It's basic stuff, but it takes time. Then you've got to charge it, use it, clean it, try it, all that kind of stuff. And it just takes time. So just for me to sit on a video for 20 minutes and talk about this, in reality that takes about 10 hours. Probably more than that if you look into editing and that. So everything we do takes a lot of time. So learning another...
On top of that monitor now.
Jesus, what are you doing there, you absolute lunatic? Get down! Don't go out there. Oh my lord.
They can't see up there. Should I put the camera up?
Go on. She's up there. She's up behind there. There he is. Poppy, get down. Oh, there she is. Pops, get down. Jesus. What are you doing? Come on, get down. Come on. Come on. Oh, for God's sakes. Right. Remind me to get her before we go to bed. Because otherwise we'll be woken up in the middle of the night with a bang. Ah, dear. Trooper C, how you doing? Good to see you. Kentucky Fried Chicken. Oh, I had some breaded chicken tonight. It was lovely. From Rose Takeaway. If you're watching Rose Takeaway, awesome job once again, and lovely pizza as well. James says she's testing air coolers. Yeah, she's going to test them by bouncing them off my bald head.
See what you said about being fully groomed?
I envisaged it, yeah. Look at my fully groomed, broken head with fresh gashes smeared with a smooth coating of blood. Nice.
Have you ever played 50 box?
Yeah. 52 card pickup I played, yeah. Oh god, that is going to be horrendous. I did come down actually one morning and some of that stuff was on the floor and I was like, I wonder how that has happened. I think actually the Freezer 35 is knackered. This actually fell on the floor from a great height. So I think this is foobar. I haven't had the guts to take it out completely. Oh no. No, nothing's actually fallen off. Well done, Poppy. Oh, actually. Oh, yeah. It's a bit loose on there. Although I think I said that in the review. Well, I'm glad we checked that out. That actually survived the bounce from that shelf onto the floor down there. And it's laminate floor, so it's not a soft landing. Happy days. Stuart says, yeah, careful she doesn't knock a box on your noggin. I'm more concerned about my keyboard and my mouse. Why is that flashing red?
I think she must just be asleep up there. She's been still now.
She has gone. Church's chicken, my favourite. If it fits, I sit. Team Drift Nation says. That's a good one. I like that. I'm gonna remember that tomorrow when I'm in the shop and say to Mitch, Mitch, where it fits, I sit.
I sit on that stool.
And I ain't doing nothing. I ain't gonna do nothing or nothing. I know what's gonna happen tomorrow. There's gonna be loads of people coming into the shop saying, oh, I've got a headlight out on my car. Can you come and have a look at it? And be like, is it raining? Yeah. No, I can't.
Mitch.
Mitch.
Margaret.
I do actually say quite often, it does bring a smile to their faces. If it's raining outside when I go and fit some wiper blades or some bulbs or whatever it is, they say, oh, it's raining mine. I say, well, that's all right. It's not going to mess my hair up, is it? And they always laugh. I think it's a nervous thing. But they laugh anyway. Really random view says, been flashing red a while, that mate. Why the hell's that flashing red? You stupid piece of software. See that? So it's flashing to say the DPI level. Why would you do that? Just go green or something. Unbelievable. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. Unless there's any other questions, I think we've exhausted pretty much all avenues right now. We've decided that clearly I need to test out some Intel stuff when it comes out, which I'm really looking forward to. Alexa says I need food for energy. I'll be writing for 6 to 8 hours tonight. Those crosswords are really tough, aren't they? Take me ages as well. Sudoku as well. Tough game. Tough game. Oh dear, I'm losing the will to live now. That's beer for you, ladies and gentlemen. Designed to make you lose the will.
Might as well take that glass up to bed with you, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to take that up to bed. I'll leave it by the side of the bed and I'll see if I can refill it to a similar level before the morning. How's that for a challenge? Right,
Too much info.
There's too much information in it. Right, I think I'm talking absolute nonsense now, so probably a good idea to stop. Just reading the comments there. There's a real bad lag on this. I've set it to normal latency and it's actually made this almost unwatchable. Not for the content, but there's a lag on it. Anyway, thank you all for stopping by tonight. Hopefully you've enjoyed yourselves. It's been somewhat of a journey. First Intel build I've done in an awful long time. So it's nice to get that done. And there will be tests going on. There will be a dedicated video on it. I don't know if it'll be this week, but it'll be coming up soon. A little bit of a blast from the past with some of the older components on there. But hopefully it's going to do well. I am genuinely excited to see how Adobe Premiere functions on it. And also to see if that power supply is any good or whether or not it is going to have to be skipped. I really, really, really don't want to chuck that power supply in the bin. I really don't. But if it hasn't got the juice, then it's going to have to go. So, yeah, that is going to do it for now. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all so much for the super chats and all that other stuff. Kav's doing all the in the background. So, yeah. Hang on. Let me prepare myself. There we go. Right. Oh, my neck. Thanks all so much for watching. I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To. And hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video.